Hi all, it's miserable, it's wet, it's raining, it's cold, it's windy. So let's do some modelling, and we have issue 4 of the Build the X-Wing. I am Mark and this is Mark Mods. Just before we go into the magazine, look what came. You can see that. This is the first set of free gifts we get with this build. And when I pan the camera down, I'll actually show you, before I show the magazine, the free gifts that we get, which is 3 posters of the X-Wing. So, let's have a look. Right, so let's have a look at these posters. I've actually had to move the camera up because these things, let me try and get that in line, are absolutely massive. So if I just turn that round, so we have the rear of the X-Wing with the sublight engines, and next we have a view of the cockpit, and last but least we see the front of the craft in space. But I think these are A2. They're huge, absolutely huge. So yeah, quite chuffed with that one. I don't know where they're going to go. Yeah, I'm only limited to certain specific places in my house of where to have my Star Wars. So my wife is very, very understanding, Mrs. Mark's Mods. So here we have issue 4 of D'Agostini's Build the X-Wing. Like always, we'll have a look in the magazine. Actually, I've already looked through this and there's not that much in the first couple of pages. The rest is modelling, and I've said for ages I love a good issue where I can really sink my teeth into it and really get into it, and this looks like one of them issues. Hopefully we will not have any of the bad luck we had on issue 3. So let's have a look. Okay, so first of all, we've got information on filming the X-Wing action sequences, and then again a bit more of the filming of the X-Wing, and then we go straight into what we're going to be doing. And yes, this looks fantastic issue to build. One thing I will say though, I did point out a while ago, this is what's come this time in issue 4. So here, you know, you got them in the nice presentation box, but I did say they don't stay like that for long. This is how issue 5 has come. Okay, this obviously I've got this next issue, and they will continue to come like this in the bags from now on. So we only got 4 issues of them nice in that presentation. One thing I have noticed though, when I got this out, you can see that there is a spider in my bag, and I'm hoping this hasn't come from Italy, because if it has, that's an Italian spider, and yeah. So anyway, let's have a look at the magazine. Right, so let's have a look at what we're doing in this issue. Like I said, it's quite a bit in this issue, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. So we're going to be doing the cockpit base, the astromech droid, R2-D2, and the laser cannon. Now, I've watched some other YouTubers on this, and apparently they said they've got a bit of a problem with light bleed. Now, we'll come to that later on, because in this issue here, we have a battery box to test the electrics of what we've done so far. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be looking at is the battery box. Oh, sorry, not battery box, cockpit base. Okay, so we're going to be adding some frames onto the side, and then we're going to be doing some more of the R2-D2. We're actually going to be finishing it off, putting the LED light in, and putting in the bit to make the head move. We've got all tiny bits down here to put in, which I've just looked are absolutely tiny. There we are. We're going to be putting them bits in, and then we are going to be testing the R2-D2. Now, I've actually looked up on this one. I'm actually going to test the leg before I put the R2-D2 together, because apparently if you don't test it properly and you've got the two connectors that I had trouble with the wrong way around, the light won't come on, and which means then you have to take it all apart again and rebuild it. So thanks to fellow YouTubers, I'm going to test that beforehand, and luckily we've got just some simple AA batteries that go into the battery box, not like the batteries we had to find for the R2-D2. And then we're going to finish off all that, and then we're going back to the cannon. Now, if you remember, I said last time we're not gluing it because we need to take it apart again. And would you believe, yes, we have to take it apart again. It is a shame though that all the bits, that bit that we did, is all going to be hidden inside. We're never going to see it. So yeah, it seems a bit pointless that, but you know, they have to spread it over 100 issues. And then we're going to be finishing more of the laser cannon. They've advised a bit more light bleed here, but on advisory, I'm going to have a look without the light, without doing that, because apparently it does look pretty wet nice if you don't do that. So I want to try having a look at a bit more of that one, and then we go back to the end. And what I'll do now is I'll quickly just go through what we've got in issue 5 instead of waiting till the end. So issue 5, as you can see there, we have R2-D2's centre leg. Okay. Instrument panels, instrument lighting, displays. Okay, and that's what's coming up in the next issue. Yeah, R2-D2 centre leg. Sorry, I didn't get that at first. Silly me. Okay, so let's get modelling. So if we go to the first one, and it's wanting us to use the cockpit base. So we're going to need this. Now, as I've said in the last one, I've had so many difficulties with this little arm here. This is the second time I've glued it, and it is actually quite solid. I've used a bit of a stronger glue than I have been doing, and that actually is Wix Instant Super Glue Multi-Purpose. It's a very strong glue. I don't actually use that for modelling much because it is, if you make a mistake, it's hard to use to get it apart again. So it's wanting us to use the cockpit base, so I'll just put that aside, and then it's wanting us to go into these. Again, knowing me, difficult to get into, even though the other ones haven't actually. That's strange. And then I shouldn't really be complaining, should I? Because then we get them in a nice bag, and I'm not going to have any issues. So why am I complaining? Okay, so let's get in here. In the bin. Yeah. This is the bit that it scatters so tiny nicely. And there we go, we reveal the parts. Okay, put that down there. Okay, so it's wanting us to use these bits here. Okay, and we have got some XW01 screws that we're going to be using. We have 3 of them, so I presume we will only be using 2 of them because we always get a spare. Sometimes them spares come in handy. I always try and save these because you see, we get 1 spare because 1 tends to fly everywhere when getting in here. Right, so I always tend to save these because they you never know when you're going to need them, and I'm hoping they do what they did with the R2-D2, and that is send us a nice little box for them to go into. I think I've still got that actually from when we did the R2-D2, and they no, I have got it, but I'll find it out some other time. I might actually use that actually because it was fantastic for the screws. Okay, so first of all, it wants us to get this piece here, and we are going to be putting it into this side here. if it lines up. Now the problem is with this is the other side I did was the side I glued. So I'm a little bit dubious whether this is going to line up or not. Which I think it is, yes. Luckily. Okay, so we're lining that bit up to there. They want the smooth end on the outside of this. So you'll actually notice there's a smooth end. And that nicely fits into place. And we're just going to be putting one of the XW01 screws in. Now I'm actually going to put quite a bit of force on the other side because I don't want this snapping. Okay, and then it wants us nicely to do the other side, so we'll do that now. Okay, I shouldn't have any problems with this side because this side didn't snap. I'm still actually quite mad about that snapping. I really am, because the money you pay for these, they shouldn't break. Oh. Yeah, get on the screw. Okay, I'll screw that in. Again, I'm just going to support it from the other side because I don't want it to snap. And that's all for this stage that it wants us to do. Let me just try and straighten up the camera. Okay, that's all it wants us to do for this stage. Right, okay. So we'll put that aside for now. I do love it though when all these bits get back. I'm just going to put this screw in this little pill box with the rest of them, well, with the one from the previous issue for it. So on to the next bit. Once we've done that, now it's asking for all the R2-D2 bits. So we still have bits from issue 4. I think it was issue 4. Issue 4? Yeah, I think so. So we need that bit. We're going to need both of the legs because, yeah, we're going to need the head. And we're also going to need this tiny little white part too. When you're doing this, guys, just be careful because these bits, if you lose them, then they will come back to haunt you later on. Okay, and then it wants some bits from this issue. So it wants this white thing here. That little thing has just flown off, would you believe? So that and that. And I'm going to take out the battery box. Okay, and like I said, it should be just 2 AA batteries. Ah, yeah. When you open the battery box, if you think you're missing this, you're not. Sorry, if you're missing this, you're not. Okay, it's actually located in the battery box. Okay, so let's just put that to one side. Now, like I said, as far as I'm aware, it's 2 AA batteries. So let's see if I've got some batteries. Right, guys, it's been about half an hour. It doesn't take AA batteries, it takes AAA batteries, which I should have read. When I said about the contacts being the wrong way around, mine work because I tested it off post video, and yeah. So I've had a bit of a nightmare. I've had to change them around, but it now, yeah, it's a bit funny. Yeah, it works. All I will say is, yeah, that were a nightmare. I wish they'd have thought of this before actually getting to the stage where you have. I'm glad I tested it now, but that was a nightmare. I'll tell you that now. Okay, so the next thing it's wanting us to do in this issue is get, no, not that bit there, get this bit here, which is the back of the R2-D2, and it wants us to put this into there. Now, this is what will actually control R2-D2's head, but I'm not going to do that because I've been told that you have a certain amount of light bleed. Light bleed is when a part that shouldn't be lit up lights up because the light is bleeding into that section. A way to stop this is to actually paint inside here and inside here, which is what I'm going to do now before it all fits together, which I think will be a lot easier. So I'm just going to use modelling paint. Okay, this is a Umbro enamel paint, and for you, if you really want to know the name and number, it is a matte and the number is 33. So I'll give this a good shake. Now I don't know how many coats this is going to need. I couldn't tell you. Now, like glue, me and paint don't mix. So I'm just going to go to this is my paint box. In here I have all different pairs, but I do have a pair of plastic tweezers. Okay, bob that down there. And this just helps me, hopefully, without getting things everywhere. That down. Okay, so I'm going to take my paintbrush, dab it in, and we're just going to paint. I think that it'll just need one coat actually. So yeah, so while I'm doing this, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am 39 tomorrow. I have been building models, gosh, my dad, I remember my first model that I made, and my dad helped me with it, and it was the Concorde back in the 1980s. And yeah, unfortunately my dad's not with me anymore. He died when I was 11, had a heart attack at the age of 36. So yeah, but he helped me make my first model, and like me, he hated decals. I could never understand why I'd get so stressed out at him, but now I know why. He absolutely, yeah, it would make him sweat. So yeah, so I'm married. I have 2 boys, Jack and Oliver. Jack is 16 and Oliver's turned 14 today. So yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic day, and like I said, I turn 39 tomorrow. So that's that one done. We have a cat, a kitten, and 2 guinea pigs. Always loved guinea pigs. Ever since being at school, we had what we called an animal house shelter, and when we were at school, we used to have guinea pigs in there, and birds and rabbits and stuff. And I remember the day going in there and holding a guinea pig for the first time, and I instantly loved them. They're characters as well, the guinea pigs. Favourite movies? Ooh, I do like my Star Wars. I could never make friends much when I was young. Don't know why. And Star Wars was my sort of escapism from everything. Absolutely love the original trilogies. Return of the Jedi being jumping all over the place here. Return of the Jedi being my favourite, I've got to admit. And I think that's gonna be okay. I don't think we're gonna get much light bleed. I might just go around the edges a little bit just to make sure. You just don't want any light bleed. So other movies, I love Titanic. My first son, Jack, is actually named after Jack in Titanic, which he hates. But me and my wife loved it, and still love it now. And I like the history of the Titanic, so I've just got a bit of black on here. I'm just going to try and take it off. If not, God, I don't have been having much luck with this R2-D2, do I? If not, I've got a little bit of tapes by my side. Just dip a tad of towel, kitchen roll in there, don't need a lot, and then just clean it up. There we go. I think I'm happy with that for now. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to wait for them to dry. Okay, let me put that in the bin. Let me clean my brush. This is just regular white spirit. You can get modelers tapes, but it's rather expensive, and to tell you the truth, it's not that good. Just pop that down there. To be honest with you, it really is not that good. So I'm not going to bother. I just use regular tapes in an old jar. I've got some paint on my mat, and these are supposed to be there for that reason, but try and keep everything clean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put the R2-D2 to one side and all the bits, because I won't be completing that until that is actually dry, which will probably be tomorrow, and I'll probably finish off this video because it's better if you leave it a while to dry overnight. There we go, clean brush. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll move on to the next part of the build. Okay, and that is the laser cannon. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got to do. So we're going to take the laser cannon and we're going to remove the barrel assembly, and it wants us next to remove this. Okay, it then wants to remove the end cap. Okay, and then it wants us to reveal what's in here. Okay, and then what it's asking us to do is we have this little fibre optic tube. It's just really a tube of plastic. Okay, and what it wants us to do is it wants us to put it in here next to the light. Now the problem is that's going to move one hell of a lot, really, and you want to get that as close to the light as possible. I don't think I'm going to be able to. So what I might do is I might just dab a bit of glue in that bit there, just to smudge, just to keep it in place. There we go, just a bit. So if I put that on, I'm just going to hold it in place for 30 seconds or so. It's gripped now, and that's not going to go anywhere. So it's asking us to put the tube back on once we've done that, so we'll put that back on. Again, such a shame we're not going to see any of this. Looks really, really good, but okay, we're hiding it. Okay, so we're putting the tube back on, and next bit, it wants us to thread this bit through the fibre optic tubing. Right, don't get stuck. There we go. So we'll put that on. Again, no glue. Yeah, making sure them two bits from last time go into their holes, which they do. Then we're putting back on the rear cap on like that. And then it wants us to thread this tubing through the barrel. Put on. Okay. Now it wants us to take, let's have a look. Right. So the next bit it wants us to do, it wants us to use this bit here. And it wants us to put this through the tubing, but not all the way. Because halfway through, if I get these bits out, there we go. it wants us to put these on. Okay, so there's only one way they go like that. Okay, so we we'll bob them on now, and that bit's just fallen off, which isn't great, but we'll put it back on in a sec. So we'll just clip these on. Okay, bob that onto the end there. I mean, it would have been okay doing it this way really, but okay. And it wants that bit there, and then it wants us to put this bit over it. There's actually in a little notch that it fits into, if I can see it. Something. It's a bit fiddly. Well, I like fiddly things, but come on. That's a bit. This bit seems quite big. The end of this bit seems quite big. I'm just making sure it's right. Let's have a look. Right, I know what I've done wrong. The wonders of making mistakes so you guys don't have to. So it wants us to take this bit off. We are to put this bit in, I think, like so. If it'll fit, yes it does. And we're to then thread this through here, making sure it goes through. Then put this other end on. Thread that through. And then put this bit on, and it's got a little slot where it goes into, like that. Yeah. Which I think might need some glue. Then it's actually asking us for a little tiny thing to put on the end, which I'm just trying to work out what it is. I think it might be in these bits for the R2D2 actually. Let's just let's get these open. A little tiny plastic thing at the end, which I believe is that. There. And there we go. Now, it's saying that doesn't need gluing, but some bits are a bit rickety, if you know what I mean. That bit on the end really wants to come off. So I might glue that post-production. But what I want to do first, I want to let's have a look what it looks like with the battery box. What I might do is I might just switch off the studio camera so you guys can all see that. So hopefully. Right, so let me switch this off. And as you can see, look at that. Wow. Now, I do understand, I think a lot of people are saying about the light bleed down these. It's a lot, but that looks... And then look at that. Oh, look at that. That looks awesome. Wow. That is absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I am well chuffed with that. It's like a lightsaber. So, that is amazing. So, let me put the studio light back on, adjust itself. Right guys, so that is actually this issue done, but it's not done because we've still got the R2D2 to put together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait overnight for all that to dry, and then I'll come back to it tomorrow and we'll finish off the R2D2 and finish off this issue number 4. Okay, so see you tomorrow guys. Bye for now. Hi guys, right, I'm back. It's the next day. And I'm pleased to say that the paint on this R2D2 has dried. So now what we're going to do, we're going to finish it off. Right, so first of all it wants us to put this bit into, oh, there, like so, and then it wants us to use, align the left leg and the back panel. I think it's this leg. Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, that slipped out. Oh, and so's that. Then it wants us to get this little small piece here, and this wants to go over the LED like well, it'd help if it fits. Like so. And then we're to put the next leg in. Gosh, these legs don't want to stay in place. Right. Let's put that in like that. Let's put that in. Right, might have to use a dab of glue because this thing here is not wanting to sit in where it should do. So, put a dab of glue on. And then let's put that on. Right, that's more or less secured. Then we'll put this leg on, this bit again, this leg on. This is going to be fiddly. And then it finally wants the body on. Yeah. Like that. No, this bit really doesn't want to stay in. And then the front body. Try again. Just try and push that together, like so. Tightly together, put that leg back on, and then once we've done that, we then have to get these little pieces here. As you see, they're in like a bag, and this is for the R2D2's head. I'm going to have my tweezers on standby because apparently they are quite fiddly, and we should have 6 of them, which we do. So let's lay it out as they wanted to do it. So number 1, I think we've already done that one. So that'll be number 2, that'll be number 3, that'll be number 4, that'll be number 5, and that'll be number 6. So it'd be interesting to know where these goes. Yeah. So first of all, it said we want to take the square lens, which I presume is this tiny one here, and we need to fit it into the dome. Okay. Gosh, this is going to be fiddly. Just thought I could have done this last night, but oh well. I'll try again. Now, it only goes in one way, and you have to find the right way it goes in. Once it goes in, that's fine. Okay, and then it wants us to use the next bit, which is the red thing, and it wants us to put that in. Then it wants us to fit the main lens. Push that in. Then around the back, it wants us to put this bit in. And then finally, oh, that bit's fallen out. Let me try and push that in. Oh gosh. Let me try and push that in with my tweezers, just see if it'll go into the hole. Right, I don't think that's coming out. And then finally, the smallest of small pieces, it wants us to put in the back. Now this piece is absolutely tiny. And that red thing's come out again. I don't think that's how it's supposed to go in. So we'll try around the other way. Ah, I think that's the way it goes in. Now all the other pieces are staying in apart from this red one. So what I'm going to do, tiny bit of glue, and we'll glue that in. But what I'll do is I'll place it with my tweezers because my hands are shaking today. Because I don't really want to get glue on my hands. I've got a tendency to get glue everywhere. And I know about the cocktail stick method, but just for one little bit, I don't think I'm going to use that method. Right, so that's now in. Okay, and then it wants us to then place the R2-D2 head onto the top, and then down here you'll be able to control it. That's how it'll move, and then obviously we can check that it lights up. That lid keeps on coming out, and I'm not best happy about that one, so I might have a look at that if it starts to become an issue. It shouldn't be, but yeah, I might have to dab a bit of glue on this one because the lid keeps on coming off. So just hold that for a second. So that's the R2-D2 unit done, and that is it for issue 4. Right guys, so that's the end of issue 4. It's been a nice little challenging one. As I said, what we've got next is R2-D2 centre leg, and we are starting to put some of the instrument panels in the cockpit. So I quite enjoyed that build, even though quite a few things have gone wrong with it. I've had to put some glue in some places and whatnot, so, but it's all a challenge and we like a challenge. So catch you next one on my next video, which will be issue 5. I'm hopefully going to get that out in the next few days, and then I'm going to try and catch up because I do have issues 9 and 10, and I'd like to get them out for all these people that are ahead of the shops. So see you later guys, thanks for watching.